Here are 4 European destinations to visit in May. If you haven't come across my channel before, then hi, I'm Emma. I make a lot of travel content and it's pretty much all travel content that I do around my 9 till 5. And I actually made videos similar to this for January, February, March and April. And quite a few people asked me to do May as well, so I may as well do May, and I will also do every single month for the rest of the year because why not? But anyway, back to the list. May is just such a great time to travel a lot of places in Europe. The days are getting longer, temperatures are starting to rise, but you don't have the crowds or the prices that you get in the peak of summer. First up, we have the Amalfi Coast. In May, the temperatures are around 20 degrees. The landscape is so green and lush this time of year, and the wildflowers are also in bloom. A lot of websites actually say this is the perfect time of year to go hiking. And if there is one thing I would 100% be doing if I was going to the Amalfi Coast, it would be the Path of the Gods hike. This is a 7-kilometre hike about 630 metres above sea level, and it just gives you the most beautiful views. I do have one big caveat for this recommendation though, and that is that you might want to hold off until 2026 and beyond for this. That is because this year, 2025, is the Jubilee year in Italy, and it's expected to be very, very busy. I was actually reading an article that said 32 million more visitors are going to be going to Rome this year, and those visitors are likely going to extend their trip to visit other parts of Italy. But when I say the Amalfi Coast, this really is quite a broad area because it's a 50-kilometre coastal stretch, so you could do any number of towns along the coast. It's quite likely you'd fly into Naples if you went to the Amalfi Coast, so you could also stop off there. This is a very love or hate destination. I quite liked it in the end, but it definitely has character, and it's certainly a lot more rough around the edges than the picture perfect Amalfi Coast. You could also fit in a visit to Pompeii, so there really are about a million different ways that you could do the Amalfi Coast. You could just tailor make it to what you wanted to see. Second is a place that I'm actually going to myself this year, but I'm going in late April, not May, but it's San Sebastian in northern Spain. San Sebastian is a great place to go if you're a real foodie. It's also famous for its pinchos bars, which are basically a Basque style of tapas. The weather in San Sebastian is known to be quite unpredictable, and it definitely does get its fair share of rain, but I guess if you're going for the food, then the weather doesn't matter too much, right? But no, in all seriousness, compared to the other spring months, May actually sees the least average rainfall. A lot like with the Amalfi Coast, it's a great time of year to go hiking, but you can also do a lot of other outdoor activities in San Sebastian, like surfing or cycling. Up third, we have Warsaw in Poland. I actually went here last May, and I was just so blown away by how pretty of a place it is, especially the parks. They're just pristine. I also thought that the old town was so underrated. You always hear about other old towns in Europe like Riga, Tallinn, Prague, but you just don't hear that much about Warsaw's. And one really interesting thing about Warsaw's old town is that a lot of it was actually destroyed in World War II, and they reconstructed it with such an attention to detail that it actually got UNESCO status. Another amazing thing about Warsaw and Poland in general actually is that it never breaks the bank. It's such great value and the food is so good as well. Fourth, and I very briefly just mentioned it, but it's Prague. In the winter, Prague can get very, very cold, but also very busy because of the Christmas markets. And in the summer, it also gets very busy, but it's very hot. So spring is a really nice little sweet spot to go. I've been really lucky to see a lot of places in Europe, but there are actually very few places that are as stunning